Hey everybody, welcome back to the farm. So we started grazing a group of the steers, and then, well, I guess there's mature bull down there and there's young bull right here with them, but otherwise a bunch of steers in here. They'd still been on kind of some, there wasn't much old stockpile where they were, and then eating hay until Tuesday of this week, I guess. So 4 days this last week. I don't know. I lost track of time. Anyway, I think 4 or 5 days now they've been on grass or on fresh grass. But this is up here on the edge of a building pad. You can see where I built the pad up here last year, and there's the building in the background. But this, I seeded like a 8 or 9 way cover crop in here, and you can tell that rye was the predominant thing that grew in here. But there's hairy vetch down in there. Of course, we got some volunteer field pennycress in here. We got all sorts of stuff in here, but anyway, these guys, this is just their second grazing on this rye and mix here on this slope, and they weren't real sure what to think about it at first. But after they spent a little time in here, at first they just went after everything they knew, the grass down along the bottom and stuff, and they hadn't really grazed any of this rye. I guess these guys would just be, the steer group would be almost, they'd be starting to turn a year old here now. But after they kind of got a chance and figured it out, then they grazed it pretty good, and they put a pretty good impact on this. It didn't help. I mean, we really needed some moisture. It didn't sound like we had much of a chance last night, but we probably had at least an inch of rain, so some of that got pugged up just a little bit. But with all the forage that was on this slope, it's pretty well protected. But they did put a pretty good impact on it and get quite a bit of trample on it, so it should be pretty good for this area. And then out here's where the perennial pasture was, down towards the Ranger here. That wasn't disturbed, and they you can kind of see, actually you can kind of see a little bit of a line right down this way. That's where the first wire was dividing it here, and that's what they were on when it rained. So you can see there's a little bit of pugging in some of this area. It's not real. This is an area here that was a little bit lighter. I probably got on this with a dozer and stuff last year too when I was pushing dirt, so I probably kind of had it disturbed a little more. But out in there, the grass and stuff was growing decent, but pretty slow. We really needed this rain that we got. Otherwise, it was going to be awful short on grass. A lot of the grass around where the cows have been out for a while is pretty short, and we actually haven't started grazing the cows yet. Thanks to a neighbor of mine, they come across some more older hay and had a couple other areas that could use the extra manure and litter on them. So I'm actually bale grazing the cows on an area with some 2-year-old hay that, the bottoms of the bales are pretty rotten and stuff, but the rest of the hay in the bale is pretty decent yet once you unwrapped it. So they're cleaning that up pretty good and giving us a little more time, kind of trying to delay our grazing a little longer, hold our start back a little longer here to give the grass more of a chance to get ahead of them just a little bit, so that we can more easily, I guess, leave some residual behind, instead of on some of that grass that's only 6-8 inches tall. I'm worried that they're gonna, their first bite, they're gonna take it right down to the ground. And the way it was so warm and dry there, I was getting pretty nervous about even letting them start grazing any of it, just because I didn't want to take all the cover off of it. I wanted to try to keep the ground shaded and preserve what moisture we did have in the topsoil, and keep from shooting ourselves in the foot right off the bat and drying it out too much. So anyway, this is kind of looking out where these guys are headed next. This was solid thorn trees and everything else out in here last year that I cut out, and I just left a few of these locusts and stuff going back up towards the road there, just so there'd be some shade in here. But these guys were it was so thick you couldn't hardly walk through there. And there were some cedars and some hedge and all sorts of stuff in there. So cut all those last summer and cleaned that up. Grass and stuff's making a pretty good run in there. I threw some cover crop in there, some rye and some different stuff, and then there was an old fence line right up through here about where, well, just on the other side of where this wire is now, where you can see that rye and stuff in the picture. But anyway, hadn't made a video in a while. Just thought I'd show you what you're kind of up to, what these guys are up to. Early in the spring, when this, you can see this is a big stockpile of black dirt here, and there's a couple of them kind of climbing up there. There's one up on top in that rye. He's just over the other edge. But early in the spring, when this rye first started greening up, this was just covered in deer tracks. They were on this all the time, just keeping it trimmed right down to the nubbins, and I didn't know if it was ever going to get a chance to take off, but it finally did get a chance, and obviously it's growing now, and these guys are enjoying it. So hope everybody's having a great day. Hopefully the grass is growing where you're at, and you're getting moisture, and have got something to graze. So if you're a grazer, if you're a row cropper, I hope you're getting moisture and crops are getting started. So anyway, have a great day, and check back in when you get a chance.